What is up, my friend? Welcome to episode 106 of the Anthony John Amix podcast. And today I want to talk about how surrender is the key. Now, we're not getting into like surrender and like big spiritual concepts today, but we will be talking about how surrender is the key. Like it holds the key to you being able to unlock a new level of freedom, purpose, and success. So if you're ready to level up, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Welcome to the Anthony John Amix podcast, the one and only podcast designed to help you become unstoppable in life and business. My name is Anthony John Amix. My friends call me AJ, and my goal with this podcast is to help you remember who you truly are so you can maintain your center in the chaos, embody your potential, and unlock freedom in your life and business. That being said, let's get into today's show.
All right, welcome back. Before we hop into today's topic, I want to let you know about Shift 101. It is a community full of amazing entrepreneurs who are all committed to like embodying higher levels of potential and unlocking riches in life and business. And so if you own a personal brand, you are a personal brand, you're like expert course creator type of person and really want to take your life and business to the next level, I'd highly recommend you go on over to ajamix.com/community and hit the little join button. It's absolutely free. There's a ton of free training in there around marketing and sales and personal growth and a lot of awesome, wonderful people as well. So again, just go to ajamix.com/community and make sure you hit the little request to join button. So with that being said, let's hop into today's topic. Surrender is the key. So over the past, months, this past 6 months, I've been writing a book. The book is called Unstoppable Beacon. And the whole premise of the book is how to help you maintain your center in a chaotic world and embody higher levels of potential and really unlocking life and freedom in the game of business. And so I've been writing this book, I've been clarifying concepts and big ideas and working with a publishing company and all of that to bring this message to you in 2021. And I'm super, super, super excited about it. Now, the cool thing is it's brought like a lot of clarity to me about why most entrepreneurs are not able to maintain certainty, why they're not able to cultivate certainty and uncertainty. And it's really the number one thing that's probably keeping them from feeling free. So here's what I mean by that. Like oftentimes myself used to think, and I see a lot of my clients think that, well, when they get something, when they're making a certain amount of money, or when their child has graduated from school, or when, I don't know, their puppy has grown up, or whatever, like when something happens, when they have something, then they will be happy, they will be free, right? And I asked one of my clients the other day who I had helped him get to like $100,000 a month, like consistently. We're from like 20K over the course of like last year to getting to now very consistently 100K months. And he's like, man, I just want to feel free. I'm like, well, where's free, bro? Like, where is freedom? Can you point to freedom? And he was like, dude, it's a great question. No. I was like, so where is free, bro? Where is freedom? He's like, well, I guess it's in me. I'm like, exactly. It's like until you learn how to cultivate the feeling, the experience of freedom inside yourself, then you're going to be caught up into a success equation with freedom. And oftentimes entrepreneurs are doing this with happiness and with joy. I'll have joy when I'll be happy when right? And so here's the thing. This creates a lot of stuckness and a lot of stalled outness for entrepreneurs. Like what happens is events happening in their life. And then from these events, these happenings, they create stories and meanings. And oftentimes they're like, okay, I am stuck. I don't want to be here. I want to get this other thing. I want happiness. I want fulfillment. I want joy. I want freedom. I want $100,000 a month. I want $1 million a month. I want whatever, right? I want. So events are happening around these events. And what I mean by events, meaning they run an ad campaign. Maybe they make $100,000 a month. Maybe they don't make $100,000 a month. The dog poops on the floor. You have a flat tire. Like just events of life. Events of life are happening. And from the events of life, human beings, part of the beingness of being human is we create stories and meanings. We create beliefs. We create meanings. It's what we do. It's one of our gifts. And oftentimes we're like, okay, I don't want to experience this. This means this about me. This means I'm not enough, or this means whatever, right? It means I'm not safe. I'm not supported. I'm not, whatever the meaning that we give our stories. And so to escape the stories and meaning and the pressure that is built from the stories and meanings, we're like, let me find a book, let me find a coach, let me find a mentor to help me bypass this experience that I'm experiencing. The not enoughness, the stuckness, the not safe, the not secure, the pressure. Let me find something out there to resolve this pressure that I'm feeling in here. Surely there's an answer out there, and a book, and a course, and a coach, and a mentor, and a mastermind, and something that's going to give me an answer to help me arrive to the thing that I want. And I'll have you consider that this act of trying to bypass your experience and try to purely and solely create results in your life from concepts is the very thing that actually creates the stress. It's the very thing that creates hell for you. A prison, pressure, bondage. And for as long as we think like, okay, the only way to escape this pressure that I feel is to go find something out there to fix it. And have you consider the pressure is going to continue to build, grow. So it's like, well, what's the solution? I'd invite you to consider that the solution is to surrender to your experience. If you're feeling frustrated, giving yourself permission to feel in your body the experience of frustration, the experience of the anger, the experience of being alone, the experience of fear. Because at the end of the day, emotions are nothing more than energy in motion. You can ride the waves. They're going to last just like a few seconds to 90 seconds. It's like being in a river. Every moment, the river that's passing by you is new river, as long as you will stay with your experience. And I've seen time and time again, entrepreneurs are terrified of their experience because they make stories and meanings about their experience mean something about them, or they're afraid they're going to show up and be something that they don't want to be if they surrendered to their experience. And I'd have you consider that all of that conceptual game, those concepts, do nothing more than increase the internal pressure you're feeling. And what if the only path to getting to a place of pure potential power is surrender? Like over the past year, with COVID, with politics, with fucking so much crazy amounts of uncertainty and bullshit and fuckery, I've had to surrender to my experience, surrender to my fear, surrender to the I don't know what to do here. And in the surrendering of it, just being with my experience, what happened is it converted my stress into fuel that helped serve to propel me into inspired and empowered action, where I could either do something or I could ask for something. In this game of entrepreneurship, I'm here to tell you, if you want to access higher levels of power, higher levels of potential, higher levels of peace, higher levels of happiness, the path is to surrender to your experience. See, the thing is like if you don't surrender to your experience, then what happens is you attempt to defy the law of being. The law of being states that the world will give you exactly that which you're at your core consisting of the thoughts and feelings that you're holding on to predominantly. So if you're attempting to bypass your experience through using concepts, and by the way, there's nothing wrong with concepts. They add value. This is just adding on another component to your power, your potentiality as a human being. Try to use nothing more than concepts to bypass your experience. Then what's happening is you're trying to create in resistance to the experience. You're denying the experience. And as a result, the experience will continue to be, thus adding to the internal pressure you feel. I know it sounds crazy. But if you'll if you'll surrender to the sadness, the anger, the fear, the I'm not alone, like your experience in your body, it opens up the space for you to see how to take an empowered action, for you to see how to make an inspired request. And as a result, being able to actually create results faster. Sounds crazy. Let me give you an example of how this plays out. I had a client. He was doing about $1 million a year in a software as a service business. And he had built all of the success, but he was just kind of like always chronically fatigued, kind of battling with in and out bouts of depression, hopelessness, and he was just kind of maintaining his business that he had worked all these years to build, 20-something years to build, and here it is. And life's really good, but he's just like not like waking up with like fire in his bones. So we started talking and digging, and after multiple conversations, we were able to figure out like the root was one of the things he was terrified of being was a loser. He's like, I'm not a loser. I don't want to be a loser. I was like, so you're attempting to prove you're not a loser? He goes, yeah. And I was like, well, have you ever been with I am a loser? Have you ever been with I am a loser? Have you ever experienced the feelings, the sensations in your body of I am a loser? And he's like, no. So I hooked him up with the fire breathing track that we've created inside of Project Shift. He went through it and experienced in his body, I'm a loser. Because for so many years, he's like, I have to prove I am not. And I'm like, yo, how about you be with that? He was with it, felt the emotions, let it pass through him. It passed through his system. And then he realized on the other side, like, well, there's nothing in me that's a loser. And so it burned through the internal pressure, which then served as fuel to help get him to $3 million a year this year. And more importantly, continue to build a team, feel supported by the team, and feel alive and on fire, like excited. And the fatigue is starting to like go away because he was using so much of his energy subconsciously to fight, to improve to himself and the world without saying anything. I'm not a loser. And any brain capacity you have of he experienced something, a marketing campaign or a person leave the team, it's like, oh man, why maybe I'm not a good enough leader. I'm only working 4 hours a week. Oh, maybe I'm not a good enough leader. What if they find out? I don't want them to know I'm a loser. So much energy just being drained. He surrendered to it, found a new level of power. Now, it doesn't just have to be like deep healing. It's just like on the day to day. Like there's certain days I wake up or during the day, and I just feel some anger in my body, feel some tension in my jaw, my back. And so I could just be like, take it out on people around me. I could just ignore it. Or I could just align with the truth. I could connect with the truth of my reality, accept that path by just being like, man, I'm feeling some anger. Let it come through me, whether it's through journaling or just doing a little primer yell. And then I can be committed to going out and creating the outcomes I'm committed to. So I'm telling you, if you're not learning how to surrender to your experience, you're missing out here. you're missing out on massive levels of certainty, like way higher levels of potential, and definitely full-on freedom to create your reality. So my invitation for you today is this. Where in your life are you stuck in the land of concept, where you're creating beliefs and meanings and stories and this should happen and this shouldn't happen and I should be here by now or whatever. Like you're just creating a bunch of mental constructs around things. Like where in your life are you spending so much time in the land of concept that you're using your energy that if you would give yourself permission to use that same energy to surrender to the experience, how much space of inspired action and inspired requests may open up for you? And how possibly could those inspired requests and those inspired actions actually completely change your life and business? So my friend, that's going to do it for this episode of the Anthony John Amyx podcast. Thank you so much for being here. If it inspired you in some way, I'd love to hear about it. Simply take a screenshot of you listening to this episode on your device, shoot it over to your Instagram stories, and just tag me at AJ Amyx, and we can continue the conversation over there. So my friend, thank you so much for being here. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.
Well, that's all I've got for this episode of the Anthony John Amyx podcast, but we have plenty more to help you become unstoppable in life and business. So head on over to ajamyx.com for exclusive resources, information, and tools to help you break through to a new level of freedom, purpose, and success. I look forward to having you back for the next episode. Bye for now.